Jefferson County, 43952, Steubenville, Ohio.
7 years of hardship, seen enough.
Steubenville!
7 years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough.
Steubenville!
7 years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough.
Steubenville!
7 years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough.
Steubenville!
7 years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust.
Welcome again to the Peace, Knowledge, Wisdom Experience, where we explore the Black experience in America. You are invited in to comment and dialogue with us as we search for peace, knowledge, and wisdom in a world that seems to operate without it. What we ask of you is to subscribe to our channel and help us grow. Also, share its channel with your friends and family. Hitting the like buttons helps us with knowing what kind of content you like and what we can do better. Buckle up for a great show. Welcome to Mac TV. We are here again. This is going to be the Peace, Knowledge, and Wisdom show. I'm glad you guys tuned in again, and man, am I happy today. So you guys bear with me if I seem like I'm a little more happy, jovial, or that I'm kissing up to my guests, but some people that I've always wanted to talk to in this format and kind of pick their brains, and so I'm just happy to be here and happy they're here. So what I do want to do is take care of some housekeeping. Please subscribe to the Mac TV network so you can get all this content. When you do subscribe, hit the bell that says all. That'll be all the notifications when we drop a new show. You'll be notified of it, and you'll be able to listen to what we have going on. Again, Mac TV, subscribe, share, and you can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on Instagram, at X, I believe. All those platforms producer has us on. But please, again, share and like, and then give us comments. We plan to answer all comments, whether we do it online, but I'd like to address it on videos also. So please participate, subscribe. Our Facebook page is doing pretty well. We got a lot of followers. That's the easy part. Subscribe to YouTube. All you got to do is have an email, hit subscribe, you sign in, and now you got us. And there's a lot of other great content. We got Greg Roby, he goes by Gregorio Watchman. We're going to have Chuck Lee, who's a dynamic.
Oh, Gregorio,
yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, from Martinsville.
Correct.
Yeah, I see a lot of his
hard-hitting videos that he's going to have for us. So he's a part of the Mac TV network. Again, Stephon Hill, the Contrarian. On the contrary, that show will be popping up at any time. We got to hold him down to get an actual date on that. And of course, the Mac and Jet live show, which launched it all. You got all that content. We're going to be hopefully soon announcing a couple other shows. But we got to work out the formats. But there's going to be a lot of information on Mac TV Network. So guys, come on, let's go subscribe. Let's get this thing going. So without further ado, the man that I'm going to be interviewing over here goes by LHeckto HDonutz. If I'm saying that right, some of you guys know him lovingly as Heckto. Heckto. I apologize, but he, as these things happen, he's going to tell us about him, so he can introduce himself to you. But he's got a great history, experiences, and we want to get into hip hop, and I definitely can't wait to get into that, to hear what he has to say about that. And my sidekick co-host, usually you see Elder Jet, from the Mac and Jet show, but today it's going to be none other than Billy Jam, William Zimmerman, with us today. So he'll be commenting and giving some questions. So this is going to be a dynamic show. But first thing I want to do is give my sympathies to Brother William, because I know a lot of people that know us on here are going to say the same to you. The passing of your brother, big dude in our community, always, and we just prayers out to the family.
Thank you. Feel like I lost a son.
There's a lot. You got a lot of sons. So we wanted to say that. So let's start with LHeckto HDonutz. Who are you? Who's that? Give us a background of you. You can start as small, growing up. You can start as, once you became a man. However you want to start. Just give us a little bit about you. Who are you?
Well, I mean, the guy I am today is not the guy that I was not even yesterday, to be honest with you. But I mean, that's just how I think, you know. I'm always trying to grow. I'm far from perfect. I mean, I'm a work in progress,
Right.
you know. But the guy that I am today, man, I'm just a peaceful guy, man. I'm just trying to set a foundation for myself. My kids are grown, but when I leave here, I want to be able to leave them something. You know, that's what doesn't happen a lot in the Black communities.
Mm-hmm.
We don't leave our children anything. So we always, our generations is scraping. You know, all of our generations that we leave behind are scraping, trying to put two and two together, and you know, and it turns us to survival mode. So
Yes.
I've been a survivor my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to survive my whole life, man. Well, I've been surviving, you know, and I give my thanks and my glory to God, you know, first of all. My perception of God may be different from a lot of other people's perception of God, but that's okay. You know, what you believe in is what you believe in, and that governs your life. You know, everybody's entitled to that. That's what God said. He gave everybody their own mind, and he gave everybody their own. The spirit is God.
Okay.
That runs between in all of us. That's God.
Amen.
But he gave each one of us our own mind, free will, and choice. And the main thing is to believe. Whatever you believe in, it becomes your reality.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's who I am.
Let me ask you a question, since you gave us some good jewels there, and you said the man you used to be is not the man you are today. As Fat Joe said, yesterday's price is not today's price.
That's absolutely right.
But what I do want to say is your past. You pull from it. You got some things in it that you definitely, you know. So, but let me ask you, the you, when you say is not you today, let's say a 25-year-old would not be the same person you are today when you were 25?
No.
Okay. So, the wisdom that you just expounded, what would 25-year-old you say about what you just said?
Well, the 25-year-old me was still trying to find me.
Okay.
I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I wanted to be. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. By the grace of God, I was making it.
Right.
I was making it. It looked like I had all the answers, but me being honest, which a lot of people don't, they feel like they're vulnerable when they be honest. I'm not afraid to be vulnerable.
Exactly.
So the 25-year-old me didn't really have a clue.
Yeah.
I was just making it by the grace of God.
I would assume most of us are.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of the 25. Well, that's like our parents was telling us when we was young. You think you got all the answers right now,
and you did think that,
and I did,
or you didn't really care,
and I didn't care neither.
Exactly.
And from my hurt and my anger from things I didn't understand, even younger than 25.
Right.
That's who you saw when I was 25.
Right.
That built up anger and confusion. I needed answers. Nobody gave me the answers. So I was just freestyling in life. You know what I mean? So I turned to the streets like most young urban kids do, turn to the streets.
Right.
Because I wanted the clothes, I wanted shoes and stuff that I saw my dad. He did the best that he could do. Because I grew up with my dad. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back. Okay, so I was born here in Steubenville.
Right.
Me and my mom took me to Detroit. So I moved to Detroit when I was 2 years old. And I stayed in Detroit until I was 11. I came back here when I was in the 5th grade.
Okay.
So when I came back here, I used to come in the summertime to visit my grandma and my dad, and I'm down in the Southland Project. So when I did finally come here, and when I was in 5th grade, moved with my dad, my grandma, and the city life.
Where'd you go to school at?
Where?
Yeah.
I went to Wells. That's the first school I went to.
Oh, you went to Wells. Okay.
It's not even there no more. But I went to Wells Academy.
Okay.
Well, no, it wasn't even Academy. It was just Wells, the old school Wells that they tore down.
Yeah. Right by the fire department?
Right by the fire, across the street from the fire department. So I went to Wells. And, I had already saw a different type of lifestyle from Detroit to here. It was a completely different contrast, like from what I knew. So I was already kind of like, I was a sweet kid. My mom always said, you have such a loving heart. And then, you know, I had to, because I told my mom, I said, Mom, you're lucky I didn't become a serial killer. I mean, seriously, I'm just being honest.
Okay.
I mean,
Because
of the experiences that I had at a younger age. You know what I mean? Because I
in
was,
Detroit.
yeah. I don't really like, it's kind of, I really don't, it almost makes me emotional.
Yeah.
I really don't want to go there, but
Well, let me ask you this though. Because I know we from the Ohio Valley, and we didn't live that type of fast life here.
Yeah.
But is that a type of thing where you can say that a lot of kids in the big cities, inner cities, would experience those similar things you experienced?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I knew what heroin was before I ever knew what crack was.
I see.
We lived in the heart of heroin. Like I grew up. I can remember I lived on Collinwood and Woodward.
Okay.
Me and my mom, we lived there, and she messed with this guy, and he was just no good, you know.
Right.
And you know, I was young. I saw that how he treated my mom.
Yeah.
I didn't like that, so that made me rough.
Okay.
Because I was going to do something to him.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I was going to do something. That's how I knew that I could do something to somebody.
Exactly.
I could take somebody's life because you keep treating my mom the way you treat my mom.
You almost have to see it, as they say. You have to see it to become it.
Yes.
But that could be negative and positive.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, you had to feel that type of anger or pain to know that you could actually inflict that type of anger or pain on someone.
Yeah.
Watching it being done to someone you love, I can imagine.
Absolutely.
Imagine. So you get to Steubenville. You're a kid from the city here in Steubenville. Did you feel more knowledgeable about, for lack of a better term, the streets? Like when you said you turned to the streets as you got older, did you feel that you were ready for that? Or was it wasn't conscious at all when you say you turned to the streets? Is it just something that happened? Or did you consciously say, I'm gonna be out here?
No, I believe it just
What's happening?
moving and dealing with life as it presented itself to me. And you know, once I found out that hey, you can make a little bit of money selling dope,
Right.
you know, so I said, well, I need to make me some money because my dad at the time was getting high.
Yep.
My mom, she wasn't here; she was still living in Michigan. So you know, I didn't talk to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
My mom didn't. I was here. I said I came in the 5th grade. My mom didn't come back here till I was in the 9th grade.
Okay.
So, you know, I was separated from my mom for like 4 years.
Okay.
That made me bitter too.
I see.
So
Just say real quick, how old are you?
I'm 48. 48. I'll be 49 in May.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
but
So this is 90s.
when I moved here,
Yeah.
85, 86.
Well, 85, but you move in, you're formidable, your teenage
My
years.
teenage years, I got.
Early 90s.
Yeah, I was a big red. When I got the big red, I was what? It was 89. I know 90. 89, 90, yeah. Because I supposed to graduate in 93.
I see.
I didn't graduate,
Okay.
but that don't mean nothing because I got a lot of accolades now. I got
Okay.
college.
All right.
I got college degrees now. I got all kind of vocational skills, all of that now. You know, I mean, you know, it's better later than never.
For sure.
And well, you have to grow. You know what I'm saying? You have to come into these things. You have to. You got to search for it. You got to be hungry. I'm hungry still. I've been hungry since I can remember. You know what I mean? So
Let me try to steer this way, and you tell me if I cut you off, just let me know. Just finish whatever thoughts you want to have to give to the people out here. But I definitely want to park somewhere in your rap time.
Okay.
Because I want to know exactly what that was like. How did you get into rap?
well, I always loved music. You know what I'm saying? My dad always tell the story before he passed. He would say, "Man, I'm telling you, Bill, you used to sing Earth, Wind, and Fire, the whole album. You was 2 years old. You knew the whole album at 2 years old." He said, "I'm telling you, I would go around. If you want him to sing it for you, pay me." And I can imagine my dad being like that. He said he would be charging people for me to sing the Earth, Wind, and Fire album.
Okay.
So that's, you know, I knew I loved music like way back then. So he would charge people for me to sing Earth, Wind, and Fire.
You imitate him well. You don't really have to try. You do a good clip.
You know, sometimes I answer the phone and be like, they, you know, just confuse me with my
Who's your
dad.
dad? You might say
Clint.
your dad
Clint
and your mom. And your mom.
My mom is Darlene Hicks.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Lifelong friends.
Yeah, what were you talking about?
But you was telling me that how you get to rap
The music,
but
okay.
music started.
So I remember, you know, being in middle school, and you know, I'm listening to Kool Mo D and LL Cool J and who was my other favorite? Cool G Rap. You know, I like that type of music.
Yeah.
So you know, I used to imitate them in the mirror and stuff. You know, knew the words.
Right.
So I never, you know, when you young,
Yeah.
like you ain't really, nobody's really like telling you that you can be whatever you want to be. So, but you kind of doubt yourself. I'll never be able to get there, but it feels good to sing the songs in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? So, so fast forward a few years. So, you know, Wu-Tang members, they come out here.
I remember them well.
So RZA, that was my guy, and Ghostface, those are my guys, you know. So these are guys that's poor like me.
Yeah.
And they selling drugs, they doing what they doing, you know what I mean? And you know, so I got involved with them, and I'm seeing them making they do music, and I'm hearing songs, and I'm like, that's you. Like we like somebody like me and you can do that. So that's what gave me.
It was almost like what you had, the dream you had that you extinguished because of the circumstances that you cannot do it. Your dream would be to be able to do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of resurfacing. You're seeing somebody that may do it. Now you're thinking, well, they're no different than me.
They're no different than me.
So
like,
now that dream might possibly be.
It might be attainable. I might be able to reach that dream one day. So those were my really strongest influences. That's when I started recording. Like I remember when I used to write my first songs, I used to be shy. I didn't want nobody to hear.
Let me ask you this. Your introduction to it, because what I want to get into now is what is rap, what is hip hop, what is the culture? If you had to say, what was your talent as it relates to hip hop or rapping? Because you talked about writing. I know there's lyrics, there's flow, the delivery.
Yeah.
What kind of, were you a lyricist? Were you more
lyricist? I was all of them. I'm a hell of a lyricist.
Okay.
I got crazy flow. I can change tempos, cadences, like you said.
Did
you hear a lot of my songs?
No, wait. Did you know you could do that then?
I didn't know.
Somebody taught you, or as you did it, it just came.
I discovered it in myself.
Nice.
From being alone. I spent a lot of time alone. I still do that to this day.
So a lot of the writing is from
being alone, digging deep into my memory, into my thoughts, and stuff like that. That's how I get my music.
What kind of? I know this is for like some of the younger people that might be watching this, or everybody really. When you were in school, grades.
Hell of a student.
Okay, so you were what they would call,
very intelligent. For
lack of terms that we shouldn't be general, but you were smart.
Very smart.
Okay, so academically, there'd be friends of yours or family members that know that academically you were smart enough to do this. So you writing something and doing it wasn't necessarily a surprise.
Well, I can say it was a surprise because like I say, I mean, I was just, when I say smart, I'm not tooting my own horn. When I say intelligent, it's just like I didn't know because I was good in school. Like I could attain stuff that I read.
You read well,
and I could take tests good, and I passed, and I had good grades.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's
saying.
What I meant. Okay.
Before I decided not to go to school.
Okay.
You know what I'm
That
saying?
sounds like lawyer material.
Yeah.
I could have been a lawyer.
And keeping it 100, we all know as we grow up, we see people, and if we judge them as we see the cover, I don't know that your cover was that's what you were.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Most people's cover aren't.
And a lot of us like that as we grow up. That's our cover, and we kind of get away from being what we really are to fit what people think we are.
I know. And I think that's where I got caught up when I was younger.
Yes.
Just over a small period of time. Until I discovered, like, hold on. Because I started thinking about things that my mom used to tell me. You don't follow nobody. You be yourself. You gonna get in trouble on your own.
That's right.
You don't let nobody lead you into trouble. So once I realized that, I became the leader of my crew.
Exactly.
I was the leader. I'm the one who had the ideas. I'm the one who had the knowledge and the understanding how, okay, now I'm gonna get this dough, and I'm gonna take this $1,000, I'm gonna make $1,300. Then I'm gonna take that $1,300, and I'm gonna make $1,600. I mean, and that's just how. And
What
then
you're
when we get this
explaining is
money,
what some people call the game.
yeah.
Which is everything we do, whether it's working for a business, whether it's doing the dope game, whether it's doing social media now.
Yeah.
Like the game is always the game, but the faculties, you already had the faculties to be able to work any game. Now you talk about what you do now, you still understand. You're trying to leave something for someone.
By the grace of God, because everybody don't have that.
I agree.
Everybody doesn't have that. You know, I had that at a young age, and I know, and I acknowledge it now that it was by the grace of God, because I got a lot of dumb buddies that I love. I ain't gonna call them dumb, but not smart. Not really. They didn't make good decisions.
Exactly.
So discipline is huge. You know what I'm saying? So
Discipline.
I had discipline. I disciplined myself.
Mhm.
But then, you know, I mean, I discipline myself, and I'm disciplined still to this day, but there's things that I still struggle with, like everybody else do. And I struggle even back then.
You still got peer pressure no matter where you're at.
Yeah, you do.
And even if you have to fake it, you got peer pressure.
You do. So, I mean, I did know that,
So what happened with this rap career? How far did it go? What did you actually do in it? So what you're saying is you started through the influence of the Weekland guys. You knew that they were no better than you as it relates to just what you are, what you come from.
Mm-hmm.
You started writing. You started recording.
Yeah.
And what happened?
And so started recording, and you know, I remember when running the streets with them.
Yes.
And it was like, man, I'm telling you, we're gonna be bigger than Buckshot Shorty. We're gonna be bigger than Brand Nubian. So
Who's saying that?
Ghost is telling me this.
Ghost.
Yeah, this
So this is
guy.
yeah. Because I want people to know. Let me tell you this real quick, and we'll get right back to it. This is one of my hopes for this network.
Yeah.
Is to get 3 or 4 guys who was involved with Wu-Tang and see if they sit down at a table like this and talk about those times in a reflective way. The reason I say that is a lot of us were spectators.
Yeah.
And we think we know.
A lot of people.
But when we watched the documentary,
Mhm.
it was no different than when I seen one documentary on Hulu, and they were all in the theater.
Yeah, in the theater, yeah, I seen that one.
Everybody there seen everything on the same, but when they talked to them, they all had a different view
Perspective. Yeah.
of what everybody's seen. It's almost like people talk about the Gospels, and they say the Bible ain't true because in John said this, but then Matthew has said this, and then Luke said that. People say they tell different stories, and they was at the same exact place and at the same exact time.
Well, again, that goes back to what God said in all of the scriptures. I gave each one of you your own individual perception, your own individual mind, your own individual will and free will and choice.
Yes.
So we might all look at the same thing and get a different, and look at it and see it completely different.
Yeah. Because that time period, I'd say a 3-year period of time, that's when I came back from DC. That's what gave me that's the reason why I started the Tigers.
Okay.
Was
That's
what
a
was
good
going
question.
on at that time.
Right.
And my goal was, well, let me just give you this and then you can go through this.
Okay.
What I seen when I came back, my perception, the first thing I could see that, this going back and forth, coming back and forth, seeing it, and then what it escalated into, I had no fathom of how that could happen because I lived in DC at the time.
Yeah.
So I came back at different times and I met Ghost.
Yeah.
I met these guys, but I seen them just as you seen them
Yeah.
because that's what they were then.
Yeah.
They were no different than anybody else. If it meant 5 of your boys from here, whoever you name,
Yeah.
it was no different than seeing Old Dirty. It was no different than seeing Meth.
Yeah.
Them guys when they pop in and out.
Yeah.
You see RZA,
Yeah.
of course. But they were the same guys that you were when you were dreaming.
Right.
But coming from a place like New York, they had a lot more people that they could see.
Yeah, they got a wider perception. You know,
Yes.
That's what happens when from a bigger city. But this I want people to know. Just because you're from a small place, don't mean you gotta have a small mind.
Say it again.
And a lot of bigger city people
that
think
was a bar, wasn't it?
just because you're from a small place, don't mean you have to have a small mind. Because my mind is huge. My mind is wide. I have a very wide perceptive mind. Like I can see things from a lot of different perspectives. I'm not selfish enough. I'm not selfish to where my perception is the only perception that matters. A lot of people do that, you know. And again, these are qualities that I have from the grace of God, man. I like to say that a lot of times because I wouldn't have the mind that I have if God didn't bless me with that mind, because we was born the same. Like I said, and my mind and my brother's mind is my sister. We not have the same intelligence or the same broadness to be able to see things because some people are narrow-minded. They say, I just put a post on Facebook today. I said self-mastery is the best mastery. Matter of fact, I forget, but it was saying, because if you got to be able to control your thoughts, because your thoughts become things.
Yes.
And
manifest it.
Yeah.
Like, your thoughts can end up being something that
they're going to be.
Well, they're going to be.
Whether good or bad.
So you need to keep them good.
So the things that you ponder on the most, whether good or bad, I try to tell people this all the time, it's going to come to fruition eventually. If you keep pondering on something, I use little small things like for instance, yesterday. I was thinking about this guy, right? I was thinking about this guy. Another guy called me. Matter of fact, Tap called me. You know Tap? Son. So I just talked to him just before I came over here. So I talked to Son. So he hit me the other day, and he was like, yeah, man, yo, can you find some venues down there? I could bring a couple artists. I could bring Freeway, PD Crack, and them down. We come down. We could do a couple venues. We could do a venue in Pittsburgh. Then we could do. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. So in my mind, I'm starting to think about my promoter, which is used to set my shows up, Jay Johnson. I don't know if you know him. He's from Caddis. His brother and them. The Johnsons out there. The Johnsons, yeah. Actually, so I haven't seen Jay in over a year. Okay. Over a year. I'm thinking about him. Man, I gotta find him. I don't even know if I got his number no more. Not even 5 minutes later. I see people say that's a coincidence. There's no such thing. I believe. And I know this to be a fact because it happens to me more than a little bit. And over the years, I pay attention. So I ran into him. I said, man, you would never believe I didn't talk about it. I was just thinking about him. I didn't even tell nobody. And he pulls up. And I said, man, you will never believe it. I swear to God, tell me I just was thinking about you not even 3 minutes ago. So we end up talking. I mean, that's just one example, a small example that people wouldn't, a lot of people don't have the belief or understanding to know that is a real thing. Right. You bring people into your life. There's people that I done talked about that I haven't seen in years, and I talk about them, and then all of a sudden they pop up. Right. This is more than one occasion. This happens all the time. So it don't just happen with stuff like that. It happens with everything. So if you think about trouble, if you think about poverty, you're gonna attract trouble. You're gonna attract poverty. If you think you have stuff, you have doubt, you're gonna always keep recycling doubt. You never get nowhere.
And this is the things that as you attain your wisdom, as
your
mind is more peaceful, you can think these things through, and you learn this.
You can't make bad decisions. You can't make good decisions in an angry state.
Back to the recording. When did you first start recording, and how did that go? Did you end up actually doing an album or a CD?
Yeah. So I first started recording with I moved to Canton. So my children's mom, she moved to Canton, and I ended up moving to Canton with her, and I met these guys up there that did music. Now I was already doing music here with Divine.
Okay, yeah.
Which did plenty music for Wu-Tang. Plenty of beats.
He just had a settlement and stuff.
He did. He just got a settlement. Yeah. So I started recording with him, but I was dipping in and out. I really still wasn't confident in myself yet. Okay. So when I moved to Canton, I started recording with these guys. I met a couple of guys, and that's when my confidence started growing. You know what I'm saying? And so when I came back, we dropped our first EP was it was Raw Intellect. It was 95. It was a tape.
I remember.
It was a tape. It was called No Anesthesia. It was a tape. We had 4 songs on it. Yeah. And that was the first. That was 95. I paid for all of that with my drug money.
Yes.
I took my money, and I back then we was dealing with disc makers. Yeah. I found disc makers. We don't even think we had
So
internet. back
how
then.
long was it when you first met Wu-Tang to this point that you did that?
Before
How many years? From the time you first met them and they knew they rapped and whatever was going on, and then you moved to Canton, and then you did those 4 songs and you got a CD or DVD or a tape.
That was in '95, so they was already here probably like in '89.
Okay, so there was a 4 or 5 year
It
period
was here like
that
89.
took you, that was your time in escalating this, whatever
Yeah,
you like
yeah,
call
yeah,
it,
yeah,
to the
building
point where
on-
now you got something tangible. And
Yeah,
it's you on tape.
yeah. Got some tangibles. We on tape. I got posters.
Now, while you're doing this, a lot of people don't realize what's going on here. A lot of stuff is going on.
Oh, a lot of
Like
stuff.
somebody says, yeah, in 95 I started, in 96, 90, in 90 I started, in 95 I got my tape. There's a lot of stuff. You're a performer. The daily stuff still goes on.
Yeah.
The troubles, the pitfalls, and all
man,
that.
there's a lot.
There's
a lot
no
of it.
steady straight to it.
No. It's a lot of.
So what did you
of things.
feel when you had it? How much of a feeling of accomplishment?
I cried. I cried. You know what I'm saying? I cried when I finished when I bought my first house, my rental, because I got rentals too. So I bought my first rental, and I remember how it looked when I first got it. It would look like trash to somebody.
Yeah.
It would look like trash to
Let
me.
me just tell you something. This man will tell you better not.
I
be
know
crying.
he knows. I know.
No, he's gonna tell you better not be crying.
I cried.
Yeah, don't cry.
I cry all the time.
We no crying on
I
this
do.
set.
No, we don't cry here though. But I cry though.
I'm human.
But
You know, I got a heart.
Yeah, let's not forget. I want to know the hip hop in the corporate world.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you
gangster
learn?
rap? Because I stopped
Okay.
in my mind when gangster rap started.
Yeah.
So that's like 90, 91. What was the group?
NWA.
No. But it was Me So Horny.
Oh, Two Live Crew.
Two Live Crew. Yeah.
I wouldn't play that.
Right.
And
You
the
were
third,
playing, yeah.
I didn't play nothing because I didn't play nothing with profanity.
Okay.
And I'm getting booed.
They want you to play them songs.
Young people, yeah, I'm booed
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
won't play the bad
Yeah,
version
yeah,
or
yeah.
the unclean version.
Now, why would you not play?
Because the way I grew up, I even had. Let me tell you a real quick episode. When my grandmother called me because he says, "That guy, Billy Jam." And
Yes.
I went to my grandmother and I said, "Grandma, they're not saying God, they're saying God." She said, "You don't tell me what I hear." So right there, right, I'm like, "Whoa, this is
Yeah.
something."
Let
So
me say
anyway,
this.
but
We used to say that
yeah, and
through
it
the
got me in
halls.
trouble.
Like, we're young,
I couldn't live that down. I was done.
and I'm going to say, I want you guys to don't hear what I'm not saying. But goddamn Billy Jam was
Got
something
me
you
in
said.
trouble. Yeah, got
Like
me
you
in
were saying,
trouble.
goddamn Billy Jam. And because I don't want you guys to hear me saying God. But again, even saying that,
Yeah.
you know, when I think about that time and you saying that you stopped playing that, and now you asked him on his from a youth, now he talked about what he went through in Detroit and what as a young man, what he's going through and how he has felt at different times. And now he's putting thoughts to paper. So what came out of you, he don't want no part of. I assume. Because you asking about gangster, you must have heard his stuff before already.
I put Wu-Tang and him out in the club and weird. But you gotta realize the Wu-Tang kid was so, but he's showing me things.
Now, is this a
First of
a
all,
friend of theirs or is this one
Oh,
of them?
he's the one that's running it. Rizzo.
Oh, RZA.
Rizzo's at the
So
club.
you put
DJ.
RZA out. So y'all hear this.
And
There ain't
people
nowhere I
come-
seen on
They
hold
say-
on.
Yeah.
Only on Mac TV.
Yeah, only on Mac TV.
Exclusive.
Somebody gonna tell you that RZA got put out of a club. And when he
Put
say
out.
he didn't, tell him to call us.
Off
You
the
tell him to call.
turntable.
You tell him to call LHeckto HDonutz.
Yeah.
You tell him to call.
I don't
Billy
think I
Jam.
might have been there that day. I might not have been there that day.
Well, I don't know.
He
But,
was-
well, you can vouch for his.
Oh, yeah. I know.
He vouched for his
He
integrity.
saved me before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
the history on him, I've known all these. They're all coming. I know somebody's kid, Clint's kid, Sam Murray's son.
Yeah.
I don't know about the
Born-
Killer Army.
Kill Army,
Right?
yeah,
Come
They
on.
lined up.
Born, Kill Army.
They're lined up outside.
okay.
But back to my point, they're
Yeah.
showing me things, and I remember telling him, I said, "Man, I ain't no real DJ. I'm a show off."
Right.
So that's when my perspective, I said, I can't keep up with Goose. I can't keep up with Iko, the older
Right.
rapper. But this gangster rap's coming, and I feel like I'm the nerd of the group.
Because you won't play that.
Yeah. Well, no, because Iko, it just ain't being played. So they're small. I'm playing for cousins and relatives.
I see what you
Your
mean.
people. So how can I be at the bar and they're saying I'm effing you tonight,
Yeah.
and my mom's in the club?
I see what you're saying.
His mom is in the club.
Now,
So
you
then
threw
they
them
go-
out because of what?
Well,
Not
Listen,
necessarily you.
so-
You might not
Not
be.
me.
the true story is, what's the leader of the Wu-Tang?
Rizzle.
Yeah.
Rizzo starts doing the rap, and the younger people are into it.
Yeah.
He starts throwing candy out of the DJ booth. So they're grabbing it. Next
Right
thing
up
I
on their
know,
speakers
he's throwing
and
prophylactics out. Before that guy throws them out. I'm like, hold up, what? You throwing what? So why get him out of here? Right? So, but what he was doing on the turntables, we're looking at the mechanics of it. And I'm
Yes.
going, wow, right? And I didn't see the money.
So he was
coming.
DJing.
DJing.
Oh, okay.
So, and then he goes to the fountain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not the fountain. They go out to, you might correlate with this. They had a talent show.
I remember that talent show. That
I
was
was
down
one
there
of
in
the
St.
judges.
John's. I think.
I was one of the judges.
Yeah, that was at
And
St.
I had
John's.
boots. I had on my black leather and everything, right? I'm dressed out. I'm thinking I'm trying to dress. But this is, well, anyway, he loses. Rizzo's in the act.
Yeah.
He actually, at that concert, does his rap. And all the kids come up front. He's taking it over. And he starts throwing prophylactics out that concert. And that actually, because they're not ready for it.
All right,
Now, and what's funny about that, and guys, just listen, some people that's listening to this, as we get into this hip hop thing right here, is where I did want to go. And I wanted to kind of park here a little bit because I want people to understand what's going on now. Some of the younger people, older people, some people who might have lived through that. You said he was throwing out prophylactics, condoms.
Condoms, yeah.
Um,
I'm sorry.
What's funny about that is when you watch the Wu-Tang documentary, and part of the reason he was what he was to everybody here, he was introduced as a rapper because he had a hit song. But it was "We Love You" right here.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
did that on that
yeah,
video.
yeah,
He
yeah.
did that on the
But
video.
most
yeah.
people thought, and he said that was soft. That was him trying to be out there.
Right.
And I remember a friend of mine said a famous statement. He says, "Oh yeah, I heard," because I remember one of my friends said, "Oh yeah, you're right. He rap. He's this, he that, he's this." And so my buddy listened to it and he said, "Sounds a little tin canny to me." You know.
Well,
And what's funny is,
That's what because he didn't want to do that though.
I understand. I
They
seen it.
kinda-
I
the
seen it.
label kind of made him do that.
So
That's-
now he's going along with his label in a club in Steubenville, Ohio.
Weird.
An artist, Weirton,
Yeah.
in Weirton, because he's around this area now and he's doing his thing here, trying to become what he ultimately became. And this is just one of those stories. The one thing I want to say, and part of the reason I like to get people around to talk about that time period, and there's going to be some negativity, but that's why I say, can we get together and be men
Right.
and say that's what was and this is what is? But I like to look at the effects of those of us who was looking in, because you guys have front row seat to all that.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a documentary with us here in studio that'd be called Wu-Tang.
Yeah,
Collateral damage.
we might have to ask them for some rights.
Wu-Tang. No, Wu-Tang is a publicly,
Yeah, okay. That's good.
but the other thing is collateral damage. It will be the stories of what they left behind in their ascension to what they ultimately became. They ruined, they made successful, they gave people confidence, they did a lot of things that they were a part of, and you can't blame it just on them.
No.
But my point is, there was a lot of stuff that went on, and those stories of things like that are funny.
Yeah.
It lets us know what part we played in their lives. We may not hear it, but there's things they got from the different things. Like when RZA said in the documentary, he had to change his life. His mom came and told him, "You need to get out of here. You need to make something of yourself." And he beat that case here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And he
See,
talks about
all
that.
this, I don't see none of this. I'm
So you
focused.
probably didn't hear that,
I'm
but
not-
we'll talk about
But
this. At
the
one
hip
time.
hop in the corporate world sees the product, and I didn't see. You young guys are coming. Let's say 89, 90, 80 after rap kind of dies out. When they put gangster rap,
Wait.
to me,
You mean when
well,
Hip
hip hop
hop
is
is-
rolling.
when regular rap
Disco dies
kind
out.
of wild out?
Disco,
Okay.
yeah.
Disco,
Rap
okay.
comes in.
Yes.
But rap, like only Sugar Hill was the only thing in
Yeah,
there
yeah,
with
yeah.
the
At the beginning, right?
with
Artist
let's say
Blow.
with the disco.
Right.
So then when the rap, to me, I see it as in the late 80s, 90s,
LL Cool J, Run DMC.
they're all coming in. Then to me, corporate comes in and says, America, we know they got the product and they don't need us. You guys are coming.
Okay.
And whatever you're doing, I don't really see it. I'm doing weddings now. I'm done.
Yeah.
So you're making a lot of money. In the corporate world, they don't need the corporate world. So I think that's how they come back into it. I don't know how they get back in here. That's why hip hop to me is really big now because of the money.
Correct.
Yes.
And the corporate world, to me, the hip hop artists don't need them. But
Now,
yeah, now here
this is what they're figuring out.
Here you go.
This is what they're figuring out now because now, like you said, for that period of time, it was a lot of money on the table. Now everything is social media,
Right.
these streaming networks, and these streaming networks kill you.
Well, you know,
Kill you. You don't make no money off of streaming networks. You gotta sell double, triple the amount of records that you would have sold for what you get for 3 million streams.
So basically, what they've been doing to us from the very beginning in music,
they figured out a way to
they
break
figured
us
it out.
more.
Yes, they
There you
figured
go.
that same deal is now
Absolutely.
still the new deal, but the same result. The only thing, but I do want to say this about, because I want to get to the negative portion of becoming a rapper. How was it when you started learning how ruthless the game was? When I say ruthless, just how hard it is to get on, how hard it is, because I remember a lot of you guys rap just as good, if not better, obviously probably better, than a whole lot of the people they put
That
their
were
face
out.
on MTV.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was I could put some names out there. I don't necessarily want to, but even I don't know. I'll think of some names. But I put it this way, I heard Mobb Deep, I heard Locks, I heard a lot of them guys here
Yeah.
that had those voices, those type of flows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That Wu-Tang flow is underrated as it relates to hip hop culture to me. Because that's the
It
greatest
was,
group ever.
but then now
And there's a lot of
they get the flowers now.
the Killer Armies and
Yeah.
raw intellects of the world
Yeah.
was just didn't get a chance. It's no different than when you, like I said, maybe you're gonna do one where you got underrated athletes in Big Red history. Guys that we looked at maybe didn't even get on the field. A Carl Thorne. You know what I mean?
Thank
That
you.
didn't get there, that would have killed some of the guys that was already good, but he didn't make it. Same thing with raw intellect. Like your
Yeah.
flow,
Yeah.
the way you wrote your lyrics and stuff. How hard was it?
What you mean, like far?
How hard was it? Why aren't you?
Well,
Why
me-
weren't you at the Source Awards getting a new artist?
Well, I believe with me because I ended up getting incarcerated.
Okay,
I was 27 years old. I ended up getting incarcerated. Yeah.
so you would call that in the middle of your career then?
I was
Rap
just
career.
budding,
Just
and at that point, I was starting to do big shows. I was actually promoting shows. I was bringing artists,
Yes.
and that was what it.
You were
was.
headlining.
I was letting them head like this is the way I went
okay.
about it. So now at this time, I'm making a lot of money in the streets now.
Yes.
So now I'm paying $10,000 to bring Juvenile. I brought Juvenile, BG, Kid Capri. I was bringing these different artists to Pittsburgh. I was using Pittsburgh because it's the closest city to us. With a big where I don't, you can bring the money in.
Yes. Yes.
So I was doing these things, and I was doing at this time. That's what I was doing.
Did you know he was doing that?
In a way, but I knew all my friends and contacts kind of died off in '90 with Public Enemy. Is who I'm working with. And I get the after party just to show you how they're taxing.
Yeah.
And I was too cheap.
Right.
And I was scared because it would, in other words, I had the after party and the hotel would charge triple.
Yeah.
You had to get
To get the
security,
ballroom or
I
whatever.
had to get the food, right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was,
Oh,
and I saw the money that it just
And because
went
you
over
was
my
already,
head.
you had
These
money
guys
in
took
the game, you wasn't afraid of what he's afraid of because you had the money.
No,
To
and
make
then I
it
know I
happen.
can just keep making the money,
there you go.
and
I couldn't control
I was investing into my dream.
Yeah.
By then, I had that mindset to where ain't nobody gonna give me nothing. I'm gonna have to go out and get it on my own. So I'm gonna have to make these sacrifices. If I'm out here, I wasn't the drug dealer that just was satisfied with some sneakers and a gold chain. I wanted a mansion and I wanted to be able to take trips, take me and my family. That was my ambition. That was my inspiration. That was my, you know what I'm saying? That's what I wanted to do. So I started doing that. And then when you're out in the streets, it catches up to you eventually. So that's what happened. I got caught up. On murder. I go to prison. You know what I'm saying? And so it derailed everything.
All of that. How long were you going?
I was gone for 7 years the first time. And then I violated. I got out. I was on paper. violated and went back for 4 more years. So I ended up doing like 11 years on this job.
One of the things I'm doing here at Mac TV, I'm going to get into music. A lot of people that do music, whether it's rappers, it's whatever, on bands, whatever. And one of the things that as we're starting and you hear things, we need an intro music. Outro music. I don't know if you heard mine. Well, I used a brother that's here that did some music that I had heard that before, and I really liked it. It wasn't polished or nothing like that.
Yeah.
It was good, and I love the lyrics. I'm gonna hopefully get him on here and talk about his lyrics and stuff and see it. But I want to ask you, can I use one of your statements and loop that in my?
I got because my whole album is on. I just recorded an album last year.
That'll be our permission, and I just got permission to use some stuff.
And so Jewelers is the name of the album.
And hopefully promote that, whichever way it goes, how it goes. Maybe nothing would have you. But the point was when he said, I was away for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I meant to leave that in because the song is 7 years.
Oh, Brett, yeah.
That's my theme music.
Well, that right there derailed me kind of like because I was right there, man. I was right there, but
while you were in, are you willing to give us some of your thoughts about when you got out, what you were thinking as it relates to that? Are you thinking in your mind, man, I just ruined everything. This is over.
I did for a while, but then that passion that was in me made me start doing it again. As a matter of fact, I've retired 1 million times already.
Okay.
And I'm retired. You know what I'm saying?
I see. You talking about
I'm not doing this no more. This is worthless. Now, it's not even about the money. Like when I record now, like when I do songs, it's therapeutic to me. It's like let me get my thoughts off my chest. It's an art.
Yes.
And I'm an artist, so I like to paint a picture. That's just who I am now. So now it's really not even about, I'm gonna be this big rap star. I'm 48 years old now.
Right.
I'll be 49 in a couple of months. So.
And let me say this though, again, I love you. Some of you guys are gonna hear me reference Drink Champs a lot.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of people on YouTube. I watch a lot of shows on YouTube, some podcasts and things like that. But what I love about Drink Champs is what the goal was specifically to give the icons and the old people, the old heads, so to speak, or we don't call them old heads, those who started this, those who've been in the game, give them their flowers for what they've done. Nori says this: that's the only rap genre that throws away their greats, people in the past. Like you can see, like R&B didn't do that. You can go see Temptations, The Whispers. You can hear people. We're the only ones that once you've done it for 10, 25, 15 years, there's a whole new crew to come in and you are now not even significant. I don't know why we do that. And I don't know why we can start at 48. It's music.
I know you can. It's crazy because I had this conversation last night. And
music don't get old.
And I was talking to my girlfriend about this last night, and we were saying, and she was like, do you still got aspirations? I'm like, not really. I mean, I do it now just because I just love to do it.
Right.
And I haven't recorded in over a year now.
Right.
Because my focus is somewhere else. Now my focus is on my properties and get my properties up and moving.
Yes.
And I say, I'm using my mindset. Well, I can't no money really in this music thing right now. So right now I need to make sure I solidify my foundation. So I want to enjoy my 50s. I want to vacation all of my 50s until I die. I've had it rough my whole life. Now, my 50s, man, I want to enjoy life, man. So I figured out another way. I said, well, I didn't get rich in doing this music thing, but I found another way. So I read a lot of books. So all the people that got a lot of money, they own property.
Yes.
Donald Trump, they said Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, Ray Kroc.
Okay.
He asked a question in the book Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. He said, where do you think that, no, this might have been an E-Myth I read before, but he said, where do you think that Ray Kroc gets all his money? First thing they're going to say, burgers.
Yes.
Property. He owns every McDonald's, any McDonald's that you see, he owns it.
And he's collecting rent.
You're not getting a McDonald's if he don't own it. Now you can buy into the franchise,
right?
But
the building that it's in,
it's going to be his.
It's going to be his. Now,
I don't know if he still does that, but
you already told me, I think before, and I don't know if he was on camera. Both these gentlemen will be back with us. So this was part one of you coming to see us and talking with us. And you co-hosting. This is your first.
I'm not doing a great job.
No, you're doing an excellent job.
I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, you're doing an excellent job. You haven't interrupted me once.
Yeah,
You're doing an excellent job.
but I want to say this.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Show business, and they told us all the time, is the worst business in the world. And when I went to Motown in 1979, what year was you born?
75.
Okay. I get up there. They told me if they ain't gonna pay Marvin Gaye, they ain't gonna pay Aretha Franklin. Why do you think we gonna pay you guys to play records?
And that's
What they told me.
and that been carried
So-
on for years and years and years.
So then hip hop comes, and the corporation want that money. You guys are getting it without them, and that's why I'm thinking.
I already
that's
told
what
you
I'm
guys.
thinking.
The hip hop culture, hip hop, however you want to say, rap, hip hop culture, that 50 years, we just celebrated 50 years. In that 50 years, you could go through it and talk about it economically, business wise, you can look at it as culture wise, you can look at it in a lot of different ways. It is exactly a microcosm. You can look at the deaths with inside hip hop, the altercations within that, the how police treated hip hop rappers.
Still do.
There's no and anybody else
That's right.
that's not a rapper, meaning they treated us that way already. But it's a microcosm of our society. If we could look at it and learn that when you say how the show business is a horrible business, we already know how to do business a way that will help us. But if we don't come together
We'll never be able to
and
get
look
it.
at it that way, then and if we look at it that way ahead of time and we know we're building something, we don't have to worry about anything outside of that. As long as that house is going up, you may hate the plumber, but us, if we're all building a house, we don't care if you hate him or not electrician.
Yeah, that's right.
You ain't more important than the
You're not
plumber
more important
when
than
the plumbing ain't put in yet.
That's right. That's
And
right.
here's a fun question. 'Cause I'm back to
Well, hold on.
one.
I'm gonna give you two
Okay.
questions,
No, just
and then I'm gonna ask you to come back. We're gonna have a part two, and we will pick up. After you've come back out, you can give us a little recap, and then where you at now, because I want to talk more about where you are now
Okay.
and what you're doing with the properties and what you want to tell us in our community about property. Because I assume you'd like to
You can
also
learn a lot
inform.
from him too.
And we're going to talk about that when we get back together. So we're going to get with the producer. We're going to figure out when we can do this part two again. We can do it the same exact way. But with you already ready for some more questions, I'll let you kind of lead some of the
Well,
discussion.
I'm learning a lot from.
Yeah. Oh man, I already knew what it was going to be, and we ain't even really cracked the surface yet. There's a lot
No,
he got
it's so
to
much,
deliver.
man.
We didn't
So
even get
much.
into the if we're going to come together, what it's going to take, and what it's going to take is first diagnosing our problems. And sometimes
that's
people
the
don't
problem.
want to do that. Well, that's what we talked
the
about.
problem.
That said, I'm going to get you in here. We're going to talk about
A
that.
lot of people are afraid. They feel like they feel vulnerable.
Yes.
And that's when that's why all these
Trust.
tough guys, these guys that say they're so tough, you're not as tough as you think you are, because
And if you are, bully somebody into doing something
yeah,
positive.
like
Bully somebody into being to you.
Thank
Like,
you.
let me go get the bullies and tell them, hey, round up all the black people and tell them to work together. Bully that.
because you know what's tough to me is a guy who can cry and I still take care of you if I have to.
Exactly.
Because I really got a heart. I don't want to do this
That
to
should
you.
be unsaid.
I don't want to do this to you, but if you make me,
Exactly.
I am. And
Been
but
there, done
Lord,
that,
but
so to
Lord
speak.
knows I don't want to.
Yes.
Lord knows, because I don't want any problem. I would rather us all come together.
Exactly.
But that's our problem. That's why we can't
we're
really
gonna
go
talk-
into it real
Well,
deep.
we'll talk about it.
But that's the problem right there. A lot of people in our community are afraid to open up, man. You got to acknowledge that you have a problem for you to be able to fix it. And that's our problem.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to acknowledge that they have a problem. I got all the
That's part of our
answers.
weakness. That's part of our
That's our main weakness. None of us like to say that I'm hurt. Man, I'm hurt, man.
You
This
did
is
me
why
wrong.
I did
don't
this.
want you to do me wrong.
Yeah.
I ain't worried about
I
that.
don't, man. I don't know what to do. I'm hurt.
I
This
ain't
is
that
why.
tough because you might find out I'm not that tough.
Right.
Like,
And that's
all
the
of that.
problem.
All of
That's
that.
a huge problem in our community.
And it's not
Everybody's trying to
particularly
put on
one
a
person.
facade
I agree.
instead of being who you truly are, man. I tell people all the time, man, I'm like Moses, man.
Which is
What did Moses have to do to the what's the name when he was picking with when he had to kill the man for messing with the Egyptians.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He didn't want to. He didn't want to.
He didn't want to
And he
kill
was
someone.
a great
He didn't
man.
want to have to kill someone.
And Moses was a good man. He's revered.
Yeah.
I am too. I revere me.
Yeah.
Like I'm a good guy. I
He's gonna
don't
say,
want no
I'm gonna say
problem.
Moses hit the rock. I thought the part of the scene people go. Part of the scene let my people go. He talking about the part when
Yeah.
But most people may not remember that Moses
Oh
was a
yeah,
murderer.
yes
I
it was.
don't realize
Yeah.
that's why he had he left.
That's why he left.
He got banned.
That's why he left.
But,
Well, Moses is a good guy though.
so we're gonna start
He's
because
okay.
we got a hard stop. You guys told me we got a hard stop. So can I get a couple questions? Well, one question.
Yeah, I
So
wanted
just
to
one-
Sim wanted to ask.
So
Yeah,
I
one
just
question.
want to say about the business again, about the money. Of all those great artists, to show you how the industry really did artists wrong, right?
Mhm.
If you go back and you were saying, let's say Marvin Gaye, let's name 50 artists, right?
Yeah.
But right now, if I ask you who was the richest black man in America, right?
Mhm.
But he probably, I bet you had none.
I think because you know
Google it. I got my.
I was just looking. I was just looking last night.
Google
for
the richest
rappers,
black man.
Rappers.
Not rapper, no, richest
Just
black
man.
man.
I want to say. I might be wrong, but she gonna Google it. But I want to say probably Tyler Perry or somebody.
Nope,
like that.
but he's on the list. But you're right. But he's.
What about
but
Bob
listen,
Johnson?
Definitely.
listen, keep
Bob
naming Johnson.
Yeah.
I want y'all. I don't know.
I don't know
But
neither.
we gonna tell my,
Yeah.
my technician over
Yeah.
here.
And I think when she finds out, they're either in one of two things. They're either in technology, software type of things on that, or they're going to be in,
But the platform.
or they're going to be in some type of service industry like
Oh, yeah.
construction
All right.
or like,
Robert Smith.
and what is he? Oh yeah, Robert Smith. He owns Johnson and Johnson.
Johnson.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. He's the richest black man in America.
That's who I meant to say.
All right.
When I said Bob
Robert
Johnson, I
Smith.
meant
Robert Johnson.
But
Well, that's Bob.
I
Bob
heard
Johnson,
Kanye
yeah.
West.
Bob,
Is he on the list?
Ooh, he may
He's
he
way
may
down
have been up
Kanye
there. He
West
may
is way
have.
down there.
Who's that?
They just became
He's
billionaires.
like
He's
400
probably
million.
worth-
I googled him last night. He's
Okay.
400 million.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's 2.5.
Yeah, he went up.
Buffy's 850.
But these
Buffy
rappers are up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 LeBron is.
These famous artists.
Well, and
That's what I'm
this is-
saying. We got
we'll
rappers.
talk about this.
See my point? That's
We
all
will-
about
we will-
knowledge.
That's
we
what
will
you
talk
said.
about this.
The
but
hip-hop
lucrative,
guys-
the lucrativeness in the hip hop.
But this
Yeah,
is
you're
the
right.
thing.
No, in the business.
In the
But
business,
most
you're
of them
right.
is doing what he said.
It wasn't just music.
What he told us about McDonald's, the guy from McDonald's. Their wealth isn't all in rapping. That's
No.
how they got in the industry.
I agree with
Because they were working. You know who's running YouTube now or got a part in YouTube? Lear Cole.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And what's funny is when you ever listen to Dame Dash,
Yeah.
and that's when Dame Dash got a problem with Lear. When you
I know.
listen to
Yeah,
Dame
he
Dash,
got a problem.
we got a lot of problems. But let me say this about Dame Dash because I didn't really like Dame Dash a lot because I seen his Breakfast Club interview.
Yeah.
And I didn't
Like
like
put
his
off on him. I just watched that the other day.
about being your own boss.
yeah.
And
when
if
he
you ain't a
talking
boss,
about-
you ain't. I don't like no different to Dr. Umar. I listen to Dash and I listen to Umar, but I got big problems with some of the things they do.
Yeah.
We can't unify if I don't do what you do.
Yeah, I'm tearing you down.
You done tore me down about what I'm not
Yeah.
before you can educate me and lift me up to maybe change my mind and do what you. Because I want to be my own boss, but you can't belittle me. You can't
You can't
belittle me
belittle me. That's
because
right.
I've worked off my back and met a
That's
paycheck
right.
my whole life
That's right.
and built whatever I built.
I don't
You
agree
can't
with stuff like
discourage what I've built
I don't agree
and
with
then
stuff
want me
like
to be with you.
I don't
No
agree
different
with
Dr. Umar.
5 minutes.
You're no different than Dr. Umar. You may have a good reason for saying that we should not marry or date outside our race.
Yeah.
You may have a good reason for saying that.
Yeah.
But when you call me the names you call me, and when you tell me I can't be a part of the
The
revolution,
message is lost.
if I decide to think that what you're saying is correct, and I no longer have a white girlfriend,
Yeah.
or I decide if I would be crazy enough to just divorce my wife because of what you said,
Yeah.
you left me no room that I might as well not do that because I still can't be with you because I did that already. Like you have no. Now he may articulate it different and say, "I've never said that." Right? You've never said that because you never went any further than saying you can't be a part of the liberation movement if you got a white wife. You didn't go further than that. You never did say there's a way you can get rid of her though,
Yeah.
or because he says, "Where's your money going to go?
Yeah.
When you die, where's your money going to go? It's going to go to her." And she's not going to use that money to further liberate your people. So you gave an economic reason for what you suggested, but the most reason people are with people has nothing to do with what they're passing down.
No.
Now you just said what you said about now you've got a wisdom that your goal is to pass on to your kids, to
That's
pass on to somebody else. So now in your state of mind now, if you're out in the dating realm and you listen to Dr. Umar say that, It may not be a big deal to you. Yeah, that's the reason I never really dated white women anyway, but that'd be a reason not to. Or if you find one and you just fall in love, like some people say, you don't know you're gonna fall in love.
You don't.
You can at least ask her ahead of time. Listen, this is how the rules gonna be. The pre-marriage gonna be that any of my money goes. The only thing you're you for, you take care of yourself. Or something like that. The rest of the money got to go to liberating. Let me say this. We'll talk about this later. We're gonna start signing out, brother. I thank you. I really appreciate you. You know, I appreciate you also.
We're
gonna have this
Gino Jennings thing.
same thing. We're gonna talk about all.
Oh, okay.
At Mac TV, we're here for it all. Okay. I want no smoke, but the show wants as much smoke as we can get.
Yeah.
We're peace, knowledge, and wisdom. The reason I say peace, knowledge, and wisdom, everything I do, there's a purpose behind it. It's either for peace, it's either for knowledge, or it's for to gain that wisdom that we all need to get to.
Yeah.
So that we understand what love is, what we understand what unity is, so that we can understand what God is. That's how you get that. You have to get the wisdom. Now, God gives all of that. So you got to be in search of it.
You have to be in search.
Yeah,
You're never
so
gonna find it. You
so
gotta be one. You gotta
Usually
want
we
it.
do it backwards. We're not even gonna say backwards, we do it a different way. We say get God and then tell you what God's gonna give you. No, let's reach for what we already want and find out that God's on the end of it.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? If we come up with saying what we want, we feel a little better. So again, another
Let me know when
peace,
you get
knowledge,
30
and wisdom. Another show of peace, knowledge, and wisdom.
30 seconds.
I really thank you for being with us today. Again, subscribe, share, like, see us on all those venues. Come back, and we will
Whatever he's done.
thank these guys, and peace to every guys. Last words will be with Billy Jam, the legendary DJ from the Ohio Valley.
I'm a show.
You're a show.
That mess man. You see the rest. Now check out the best. Stop rapping. I want some of them.
Get that.
It's on there.
No. I heard you do that. I heard you do that
Let me tell you a
before.
story about who I am. Let me hear you say
Right there.
that. Come on
Right
there.
We need this. Come on.
Don't try to mess with me. Come on, get some of this. You seen the rest? Now check
Out the best. I come to you with total finesse. For that jam. Jam got one. I'm telling you. I don't know why he won't do it. He said he's a show off.
Shake
Show off.
your bang, shake your wang. Don't let go till I say something. Hey, y'all never do. A hoochie coo. Come on, get some of this for me and you.
That's right.
No, I'm trying to battle.
And next
Oh,
time,
no.
well, you be ready to say that
I'll
first?
be ready for that.
I
Wait,
know.
No,
wait
he's
for
ready
it.
now.
Be ready for our outro. But peace.
Oh, okay.
Knowledge,
The gentleman.
and wisdom. Take care, guys. See you later.
Jefferson County, 43952, Steubenville, Ohio.
7 years of hardship, seen enough. 7
Steubenville!
years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough. 7 years
Steubenville!
of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough. 7
Steubenville!
years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough. 7 years
Steubenville!
of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust.